So I love studying the Trinity.
Yes, okay.
And if you come to Alphacrucis, come and study the Trinity with me. I've had a lot of students who have chosen to study the Trinity, and they've admitted to me, I didn't really want to do this subject because I thought it was, going to be a boring doctrine subject. But they had to choose the elective, and their lives have been changed. Oh, look, I love having these really great conversations with students. I do push my students. We're not just going to sit there and let it gloss over us. There's meat to be chewed on, let's chew it together. So I love it when we can have that kind of discussion. And I'm always encouraged, push back.
Okay.
Push back on me. If you disagree with what I'm saying, then articulate that, make an argument for it. But you may also have me pushing back. But that's healthy for us as Christians to learn to, I guess it's that struggling and wrestling with our salvation. Not everything comes to us easily.
No.
Some things we have to wrestle for. It's funny because when I was working for 10 years with AusAid, I often, because I was still doing the theology and my passion was theology and I really wanted to be teaching theology. But I found myself doing aid and development, and many times I'd be saying, Lord, what am I doing here? This is not what I want to be doing. And having that kind of argument with God. And I really couldn't see what he was doing. Now 20 years later, I'm like, oh, right, now I get it. I'm one of the very few people in the world who actually has a decade of experience doing aid and development, working in developed countries like Bangladesh. I lived in Fiji for a few years. I've worked across the Pacific. I've done that, so I've had on-the-ground experience. I have legitimacy in that area. I know what I'm doing in that area. I've worked with the World Bank and the UN and nameless governments. But then I've been able to marry that with a really strong articulation of the Christian faith. And I've seen God just bring those two worlds together. And sometimes it takes a while for God's plan and purpose to come about.
That's interesting.
Where I suddenly go, oh, now I see what you're doing. I am now able to, with legitimacy, speak to secular audiences as well as faith-based audiences.
Wow.
Which means that hopefully some of the gospel, even if I'm not preaching the gospel as we might know it, I'm bringing gospel principles, kingdom principles, godly principles to bear on the way multiple billions of dollars may be spent. That's exciting for me when we understand how we can take something that looks secular, something that is just your ordinary kind of work life, but you can just infuse it with the fragrance of Christ.